Hi, I'm Dom Hind, and fuck, I'm nearly 50. Actually, I'm 48 now, and lately I've been thinking a lot about something that quietly sits in the background of most of our lives, but suddenly becomes very real in midlife. Money. Not the glamorous version, not the buy a handbag version, not that I buy a handbag, but the real version, the version that determines whether we have freedom, security, choices, and independence as we move into the next chapter of life. And I've had this moment recently where I thought, if I'm honest, do I actually understand my super? Not vaguely, not conceptually, but properly, enough to know I'm going to be okay. Because here's the truth. Many women are incredibly capable in every part of our life. We build careers, we raise families, we manage households, we make complex decisions every single day. But when it comes to financial systems like investing, retiring, planning, and superannuation, many of us were never taught properly how they work. And by the time we reach our late 40s or early 50s, a lot of us suddenly realize something. We may have spent decades building lives, but we haven't always been building financial power alongside it. And I know I'm not the only one. If you're listening to this and thinking, I've been meaning to look at my super, I really don't know what it's invested in, and I'm hoping it's all just fine. This episode's for you because it's never too late to understand money. It's never too late to take control, and it's never too late to build the financial independence that supports the life you actually want. Because fuck, I'm nearly 50, and isn't it amazing? Today's guest is someone who spent her career working right at the intersection of finance, superannuation, venture capital, and women's financial improvement. Pascale Helyar is the founder of Pascale HM, a consultancy that helps financial institutions better understand and serve women as clients and investors. She has worked across venture capital, fintech, superannuation, and financial services, and has written a book that I have actually read and understand about super, which is great. But what I love about Pascale's work is this. She's not just talking about how money is numbers. She's actually trying to give you a choice and your independence and the ability to design your life on your own terms. Because women are not just participants in the financial system. We are the ones with the most power, and we are absolute economic powerhouses. And yet, many financial systems, including superannuation, were originally designed around male careers and their patterns. So today, we're unpacking it all, and we're looking at what women actually need to understand more about money, why super matters more than we think, and that's a big one, and how to stop feeling intimidated and start feeling in control. Pascale, welcome to Fuck, I'm Nearly 50. Let's start here. How would you introduce yourself at a dinner party?
Well, firstly, thank you for that introduction. I think that was one of the better introductions I've had. No, honestly, because so many people just do cut and paste from, bios or whatnot. But I feel like you told my story in a new way.
Good.
Yes. So thank you. Honestly,
Okay.
thank you for that. How would I introduce myself at a dinner party? Well, it's actually a really good question because I'm always slightly perplexed when I do introduce myself, because I have so many facets to what I've done over my career, and that I don't fit a box.
Yeah.
I don't just, I can't say, oh, I'm an accountant or I'm a lawyer or I'm a doctor or anything like that. I've had this very multifaceted career, which has, one thing has led to the next, and I've been able to pull it all together. But summarizing that in one word is just not easy. So what I tend to say is I'm a superannuation and wealth expert.
Yes.
I mean, it also does depend where I am.
Yeah, of course.
So if I'm at a fintech event, I'll say, oh, I'm a twice exited founder.
Yes.
If I'm at a literary event, I'll say, oh, I'm a published author. So it does depend on where I am. But mostly I go with superannuation and wealth expert, and then that tends to start the conversation from there. And then depending on who I'm talking to and where I am, then I'll sort of reveal different facets of my background. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. And I think it is, I feel the same. Whenever anyone says, can you introduce yourself? I'm always like,
well, I
what?
can.
I like to hobby at the moment. No. You spent years inside financial services industry. What's the biggest ways the system has historically misunderstood women?
In so many ways, but you mentioned it in your introduction, and so I will take that cue.
Yep.
And I'll talk about women and superannuation.
Oh, yes. Yep.
In order to do that, I'm going to need to set the stage a little bit.
Yep.
And I'm also going to just give a quick recap for our listeners on what superannuation is.
Yes, please do.
So, and the reason I do this is there is such a gross misconception and misunderstanding of the superannuation industry that literally whenever I walk into a room and somebody introduces me and says she's going to talk to you about superannuation, I feel the life sucked out of the auditorium, and I see shoulders slump. Ugh. And people, God, must she? And so I take it as somewhat of a personal challenge every day to help people understand that actually superannuation is this incredible vehicle for wealth.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be complex. It can be really simple.
But it also doesn't have to be boring. And that's what I think people think it is.
And that comes from just a gross misunderstanding around it.
Yeah.
And the reason that there is a gross misunderstanding is because there's no understanding and there's no education.
Yeah.
And there is no such thing as super school.
No.
Which I would love to introduce.
That would be amazing.
But who would turn up?
Yeah. Everyone should, because everyone should. Super.
Well, and this is why one of my new pet projects is how do we get financial education back onto the curriculums, onto the school curriculum.
Yeah.
With all that said, let's do a quick recap.
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
Okay. So superannuation is your money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've had many arguments with many people over decades on this, but there's, again, coming back to misconceptions, it doesn't belong to the government.
No.
It doesn't belong to your employer. It is your money. And in the same way that you have a savings account, present day, you're saving for a car, a holiday, whatever it might be, you need to think of your superannuation as your bank account for future you.
Yes.
So that 12% that you're putting, or that your employer puts on your behalf into your superannuation, that's your savings for future you, for you to live on when you retire. The third thing I'd like to outline is that outside of any property you may own, and that's getting harder for all of us.
Yes.
Your superannuation is likely to be your greatest asset.
Yeah.
Because hopefully when you retire, you will have hundreds of thousands of dollars of wealth with which to retire on. And can you say that about a share portfolio?
No.
Well, not many people can. So it is your biggest asset outside property, and that's why you need to treat it with the respect right, that it merits.
Yeah.
The last thing I would say is that superannuation is incredibly tax advantageous.
Absolutely. So many ways.
Just to unpack that a little, so we've all got our, marginal tax rates, and we know that, they can be 17% or 30% or 45%, depends where you are in your, in your earnings. But superannuation is only taxed at 15%. So let's say your marginal tax rate is 45%. Let's say you're a larger earner. Then that means any money going into your super already has a 30% uplift,
Yeah.
which is so exciting.
Yeah, it is amazing.
And then when I explain this to people, they're looking at me going, well, is this magic? Like, why? And then I have to remind people that we used to be a defined benefit system where the government or your employer used to pay for your retirement.
Yeah.
But with the advent of superannuation in 1992, that made us a defined contribution system where we are all, each Aussie, we're funding our own retirement. And the reason that the government has built in such incredible tax advantages to the superannuation system is to encourage us to build as much super as we can so that we are all less reliant on the government in our retirement and old age.
Yep.
So that's the super system.
Yes.
Boiled down.
Yes.
But nuts and bolts. Now, the super system is fantastic. It has put Australia on the world stage in a way that we actually can't even begin to comprehend. The size of
the strength of the share market.
Yes. Like, what other country has every employee's 12% of their earnings going into the system month after month, year after year?
The annuity is
it's
outrageous.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And the size of the industry is $4.5 trillion.
Yes.
So when, Spain wants to build a new bridge, or North America wants to build shopping centers in Hawaii, they come to Australia and the superannuation system to fund that, because we literally now have so much wealth that we can no longer invest it
in Australia
just domestically, right? So other countries come to us for funding from the superannuation system because we need to invest that money.
Which that in itself is pretty amazing.
We're only 27 million people.
Yeah.
And we have such incredible wealth, which is why now other countries are looking to emulate what we're doing, because it is globally recognized as being such a success. That said, the superannuation system was not designed with women in mind.
Yes.
What do I mean by that? Well, super works brilliantly if you earn like a man.
Yes.
And with a man's wage, and you work full time for the entire length of your career.
Yes.
But nothing in the sentence I've just said is applicable to the majority of women.
Yeah.
So there are three key factors in what we call the gender super gap. The gender super gap is the difference between the average of what a woman retires with and what a man retires with in Australia. And that gap is now 25%.
Wow.
So, and when I started talking about this over a decade ago, the gap was 42%.
Wow.
So we are making progress.
Yeah, that is good.
But we're still not there. And okay, so let's say a man retires with $300,000.
Yep.
The average woman will retire with $225,000.
Yes.
Why is she retiring with so much less? Three key factors: the gender pay gap.
Yeah.
Where it's not, and I just want to clarify, the gender pay gap is not an expression of a man and a woman doing the same job and her earning less. It's an expression of how many women are in the workforce, in particular industries, etc. But where it flows through is that the average man in Australia, for every dollar he earns, the average woman earns 78 cents.
Yes, right.
And over the course of a year, that difference becomes $28,000.
Right.
In pay.
Yeah.
So imagine the impact on your super.
Yes.
Now, the second point I made, which is that men work for the full time for the entire length of their career. Well, women have career breaks.
Yes.
Most typically for parental leave.
Yes.
But, and I think we're of the same vintage, there are other factors why you need to step out of, a woman particularly tends to step out of the workforce. Number one, looking after our elderly parents. What do you do when you've exhausted your carer's leave
Yes.
you have to scale back on work.
Yeah.
And so when you reduce your work from 5 days to 4, that impacts your super contributions accordingly. But there's another really more powerful, salient reason, which is the effects of menopause and perimenopause.
Yeah, right. Oh, really?
Yes. Yes. So a couple of years ago, MetLife released a study on the women of this stage being impacted by the effects, and maybe it's uncontrollable hot flashes or just extreme fatigue or whatever.
Yes.
But
Or being too honest. No.
but 38% of women they surveyed reported that they had to scale back their working hours because of the effects of this massive life change.
Wow.
So if you're struggling to get out of bed, or you don't know if you're going to be able to hold it together in a meeting because of the hot flashes or whatever, anxiety, depression, etc. If you're scaling your work back from 5 days to 4, or even your 3, that's impacting your super contributions as well.
And it's interesting because it's like at the end of the super contributions as well. So if it's like in that 45 to 65, when that's that last bit, like that's another dip into your super contributions.
Exactly. So if we think about a typical woman, she might step out of the workforce to have children. Let's say that happens at 30, using round numbers. And then maybe she comes back into the workforce, age 40, but then at 50, she has to step out or scale back again because of these damn hormonal changes, right?
Wow.
Plus, elderly parents.
Who you need to care, like just the life caring issues.
That's right.
What impact? I mean, that's a huge impact, because it means then that there's such a reliance on, there's so many people like just staying in something that they don't want to be in because they're not prepared for something later in life.
Yes.
Like that's a huge thing, that this super that's supposed to make us all feel great and be able to be independent.
Yes.
But it also makes you scared or a bit worried and anxious.
Yeah.
And we were having a conversation yesterday in the office where one of our team, his wife's just had a baby, and he's saying, I need to top up her super so that at least she feels like she's
being compensated.
Yes. While she actually is on maternity leave.
Yes.
Because that's another big thing as well, is that when you're on maternity leave, the super stops.
Absolutely. There is the government is now introducing the paid parental leave.
Yes.
That is a very new event.
Yes.
After decades of lobbying.
Yeah.
That is only just coming in now. But yes, it's for 16 weeks, 18 weeks,
it is,
which is, look, better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. But what I fully agree, like the male partner in any, or the partner in any relationship needs to be splitting their super with their spouse in recognition of all the unpaid labor that she's undertaking.
Yeah. And there is a lot of unpaid labor. Do you think that we've been set up, or the system has been set up in a way that we can change it so that women feel like that they are having their say, or that they can claw back or get back in with their super? I think probably the difference in, you talking about the gap in super from 42 to 25, I mean, that's a big thing.
Yes.
Is it education that is really helping with that, or what are the factors?
Well, a decade ago when I started talking about this, I mean, no one knew about the gender super gap.
Yeah, okay.
And a few people had heard of the gender pay gap back then.
Yeah.
But now most people are aware of the gender pay gap, and some have heard of the gender super gap.
Okay.
And so I have personally witnessed this shift in the audiences I speak to over that time. So there is a growing recognition of these sorts of issues, but still by and large, the awareness of the gender super gap, or the drivers of it.
Yeah.
If I take time out of the workforce to have kids, then people, they're not making that connection. They're not joining those dots.
Yeah.
So yes, it does come down to education, but let's think about who's educating. You've got the super funds,
yes,
with their word salad of compliance, right?
Yeah.
Where, and
Who should be doing it then?
well, this is where,
Is that your job?
well, well, I
Well,
seem
you
to
put your
have found
hand up for it.
Well, another response at the dinner party is I say I'm a financial educator.
Yes.
Um, and because you've got more and more financial educators / influencers, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
us, on social media, like Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, that's where people are consuming their information,
okay.
because they're not going to read their super funds
No.
website,
No.
but they're seeing more and more content,
Yes.
and that's how people are learning about this or that or whatever it might be is through social media. So that's definitely certainly where some of the education is coming from.
Yes, social, and then the misinformation. But
Yes.
see, this is where it is. You do need to take ownership. I think if you reposition super as being your largest asset outside of property, it helps just reframe it,
Yes.
because people don't really care.
Well, they don't understand.
Yeah.
And I, back to my original point, and they don't understand kind of its purpose. They think that other people are taking their income, their money.
Yeah.
They don't understand that this is actually theirs. They don't understand that, well, age 30, maybe you shouldn't be in a balanced fund. Maybe you should be, you've got time on your side to be in a growth fund.
Yeah.
And it's because there is this absolutely key missing piece of education around financial literacy in high schools.
Yeah, even that. I was talking to someone the other day about their super, and they hadn't even put their tax file number in. And I'm like, what do you mean? You need to put your tax file number in so that you can actually maximize or minimize the amount of tax that you're paying on your super.
Yes.
Anyway, so that was one thing, that put your tax file number in your super. So just changing gear a little bit, you've had a fascinating career across venture capital, fintech, financial services. What originally drew you into the financial world?
It's a very funny story. And my undergrad was an arts degree.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Not commerce.
No, not commerce, not economics, no, nothing. And I did psych and French as my two majors.
Okay, good.
And my honors degree, I couldn't write about what I wanted to for the psych, but I could do it in French. So I opted to do honors in French.
Great.
Yes, and you're thinking, how the actual does this relate to getting to finance? There is a thread.
Yeah.
And in my honours year, I was the president of the French Society at Sydney Uni.
Right.
And the society had always been sponsored by BNP, the Banque Nationale.
Yes.
And so I went to them and said, oh, hello, I'm Pascale, and would you be so kind as to support us for another year? And these are the activities and da-da-da-da-da. And built a nice relationship with the general manager of BNP, so much so that at the end of when I'd finished my honours degree, and I'm thinking, what I don't know what I'm going to do. But I went to him and said, well, I guess you've seen what I'm capable of. Are there any roles? And there was a role as a junior marketing and comms person within BNP.
Right.
And that's how I found myself in finance.
Wow.
So I was doing marketing and comms, and at the BNP then merged with Paribas, which is another French bank. So I did the Australian and New Zealand merger comms and did all that. And then I thought, I don't know if working for a French bank is a long-term game for me. So by this stage, I then moved into BT Funds Management, and that led on to JP Morgan Asset Management,
right,
and so on and so forth.
Okay, right. So the rest is history.
Yes.
Yeah. So the arts degree,
I know.
the honours in French, led to
a job in finance.
Yeah,
I know. It's the weekly windy road.
Yeah. And throughout that journey, when did you realize that women were being underserved?
I went to a school here in Sydney where I and we were told all the time that girls can do anything.
Yes.
And so we all left school thinking girls can do anything.
Yeah.
And we all got a bit of a shock when we got into uni and the workforce to realize that, yes, we can do everything, but other people don't necessarily see that.
Yeah.
So I think that was the first realization. But the second realization, the big one really, was after I'd left Sydney and gone to live in the UK for just under 8 years, and I came back to Sydney and I found that Sydney had not changed.
Yeah.
And in fact, during the time I'd been away, it seemed like Sydney had gone and Australia had gone backwards. And particularly around gender equality and particularly around women's finances. And I started chatting to my friends about this, that, and super. And oh gosh, I'm trying to get my super back over from the UK. It's really difficult. And then I just became increasingly aware that there was this problem. And I thought, okay, well, maybe it's just my friend set.
Yeah.
And then because I was now in the startup world and one startup led to another, and one of those other startups was the Australian Gender Equality Council,
Yes.
where I ended up being Director of Communications for 3 years. And then I was thrown in the deep end of understanding just how Australia had regressed across so many aspects of life during the time that I was out of the country, and how superannuation particularly was, in my book, one of the greatest disservices that we had done, or the country had made, towards 51% of the population.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. Interesting. It's funny when you do go away and then come back and go, oh, nothing much has changed. Or in your case, oh, nothing much has changed. But some things are back.
Yeah. It was really quite shocking to me. So.
Many women are incredibly capable.
Yes.
But still feel intimidated by money, investing,
yes,
and financial language.
Yes.
Why?
There are so many reasons for this. Funny you should ask me this question. I was preparing for a keynote a few weeks ago, and I actually did some research and looked into all the various reasons why women feel that they can't handle money. And there were 42 separate reasons.
Wow.
42 documented, right? Ranging from culture to distrust, to fear, to overwhelm, to lack of confidence, to lack of education, to identity issues, feelings of worth, self-esteem, and so on. It was an extraordinarily long list. And in comparison, I just, for giggles, I did some research on the reasons for a man, and far fewer. I think there were 18.
Oh, okay, under half.
Yes. And so that right there is very symptomatic, I think.
But it's also very telling.
It's very
telling. And that level of confidence, irrespective of what it is just not there. And confidence comes from knowledge.
Yes.
Because knowledge actually does give you power.
Yes, but also confidence comes from doing.
Yes.
And this is when I present, I show the 42 reasons for a woman and the 18 reasons for a man. And then I say, listen, I get it. I understand all of this. But guess what? You just got to put your big girl pants on and do it.
Yes.
Because the greatest disservice you can do to yourself from a financial perspective is to do nothing.
Yeah, or bury your head in the sand.
Right.
Yeah,
because if you don't take action, you are going to end up with the gender super gap.
Yeah.
You are not going to have any savings. You are not going to, et cetera, et cetera. So the best, and that's why when it comes to superannuation specifically, I have just one rule
Yes.
for women, which
What is it?
is just add as much as you can, as early as you can.
Yeah.
Like, just cut through the jargon. Don't worry too much about the stock markets. Just add as much as you can to your super as early as you can. So you
That's
can
a great message for like early 20s to 30s when before kids you just add everything.
Go
like
hell for leather because it's in a tax advantaged environment. And you've got the beauty of, well, if you're in your early 20s, you're going to have like 40, 45, maybe 50 years.
compound interest.
Compound interest, which is so exciting. And your money's making you money. Like, why wouldn't you take advantage of that? But so if I ever write another book, it'll be targeted for the young 20-year-olds.
Okay.
And I'm going to title it How to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah, right.
Because that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
But that's all you need to do is like put as much into your super as early as you can, and you'll end up being a millionaire.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good thing to do. The knowledge gap.
Yes.
How do I know super funds can't really do it. The government can't really do it. The influencers
are trying.
But the trust around that is what
else can we do?
What else can we do?
Well, so this is where the government also has to put its big boy pants on.
Yeah.
Or big person pants on.
Big person,
and re-implement financial literacy into the curriculum.
Yeah.
So we did used to have it until 2019 when budget cuts meant it was removed.
Right.
And because of that step, we are now seeing that the rates of financial literacy have gone backwards across men and women.
Right.
So both sexes, but also the difference between the sexes is greater than it was.
Yeah, okay.
So school and the final years of school is really where it's at.
Okay.
Just to be given the basics.
Yeah.
I actually have quite a radical proposal.
Yes.
Yes.
Are
we going to debut it here? Which is because I've been thinking long and hard about this.
Yeah.
So my kids are almost 16.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the thought of them getting into a car and learning how to drive fills me with terror, but we brace ourselves.
Yeah.
But they're coming to the age and stage of their life where they start adulting.
Yes.
Right. So they're getting ready to learn how to drive a car.
Mm-hmm.
Now they need a license to drive a car. In a few years, they're going to be able to vote.
Yeah.
And change the political direction of this country.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Why? In the same way that we have a national vaccination program, which is actually remarkably effective with something like 95%.
Yeah.
Why don't we have a financial vaccination program where, as part of becoming an adult, they have to undertake some basic financial education online in some course or whatever. And then in the same way that we renew our driving license every 10 years,
you have to do the same thing.
You have to do the same.
Well, with that's a very interesting way of looking at it, because even with the cybersecurity at the moment, so insurance companies, and I know that we've had to do this, but for the business, we have to get all of our staff trained on cybersecurity so that it can actually help reduce our premiums.
Right.
But it's the same sort of thing that if there was a financial training or learning literacy, that would actually help them get with their life.
Absolutely.
Get to understand their life anyway.
Yes, exactly. Because your financial well-being is it perhaps the biggest driver of your adult life?
Oh, absolutely.
Because everything ties back to it.
It does.
Your career, your retirement funds.
Yes.
Where you live, what happens when you partner up and get married or whatever.
Yeah.
We're not. It's like putting my kids. without any theory or practice behind the wheel of a car and going, please drive to Melbourne.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a credit card.
yeah,
What?
off you
Oh,
go. Frankly terrifying. But this is actually what we're doing.
yeah. We
So
are.
why are we not
Doing
giving
similar.
them some basic training
Mm.
and asking them, age 16, 18, whatever, to think about, okay, well, you know, what age do I want to retire at? I know it's 60 years away, but you got to start thinking about these things.
Yeah.
And, you know, do you want to own property? Do you not? Do you want to own a car? Do you not?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
all these decisions that you make. It's a bit like choose your own adventure, right?
Yeah.
But all the
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that you want determine how your next move. So let's ask them to start thinking about it. Give them some basic building blocks
Mm.
around. Okay, well, kids, you can't just stash your cash under the mattress because you know inflation's at 4%, and you know the cost of living is going to outrun that.
Yeah.
So just give them some basic training,
Yeah.
and ask them to understand the principles and the basics of investing and of super.
Mm.
And then in the same, when you renew your driving license,
Yeah, you
every
do
2 years,
that.
you
Yep.
update your roadmap, right?
Yeah. And I think that's a great way of getting the confidence with the kids. You said before about women just doing. What are some of the things that they just need to do? So something that Tracy Hall said to me, which
Yes.
was amazing, was check your statement weekly. Like, you know, just go in and check your bank account. And it's fascinating how many subscriptions that you have that you don't actually use.
It's scary.
It is, isn't it? You just go, you forget. And you're like, oh, well, what do I
Yes.
need to do?
Yes.
So what are some of the practical things and easy
yes.
that you can just do
as a woman,
as a woman?
number one,
Yes.
check your super balance.
Okay, yes.
So Tracy's a friend.
Yes.
So if Tracy is advocating checking your statement, which I fully agree with, your bank statement, if you're doing that for the now, check your bank statement for future you, i.e.
okay.
your super.
Yeah.
So
How often do you do that though?
how often do I
How
personally do it?
how often should you check your super statement?
Well, this is a great question given volatility of markets at the moment. I don't check it daily.
Yeah.
Because you will just terrify yourself. But I think quarterly is reasonable.
Okay, quarterly.
And now that we've got the introduction of payday super,
Yes, that is a
which
good
is
thing.
so exciting.
Yeah, it's so much better.
Then maybe you want to check it monthly. And I would actually really strongly encourage people to be checking it monthly, because in the same way that, you know, you check your pay goes into your bank account,
Yeah.
you also want to be checking that your superannuation amount on your pay slip, let's say it's $1,000, is also going into your super account.
Mm.
And I know that sounds like one of the most obvious things in the world, but historically this has not been the case.
Well, and this is where one of my pet peeves is when companies don't pay their people super.
Yeah.
And they go under, particularly in hospitality, they go under.
Yes.
And they've left all of the super unpaid, which is
Yes.
basically they've stolen from all of their employees.
Exactly.
And it just annoys me. So I think that's a good one to check.
The size of your annoyance
Yeah.
of unpaid non-SG compliance
Yes.
is $3.6 billion. Yes.
What, annually or just in its
that's the total value.
entirety?
Yeah. So that means that Aussies like you and I and Tracy and Maria, and they have been thinking that $1,000 in their pay slip was going to their super, but actually it has not been.
Wow.
$3.6 billion.
That's a massive amount.
Yes. So that is why you want to be checking your superannuation.
Yes.
Either quarterly or monthly.
Yeah, okay.
Just check that it's making its way across. Now, there's a variety of reasons why companies have not paid the SG.
Yeah.
Some are legit, some are nefarious.
Yes.
But as you say, at the end of the day, that's money that the employers have stolen from their employees.
Yeah. It's not their money.
It's not their money.
It's the employees.
Exactly. So that's homework task number one.
Yeah,
and that's
great.
super, super simple.
Yes.
The fun.
Super simple. Yep.
The second thing you can do as a woman, if you're in the workforce, I'm going to give two recommendations.
Yes.
So if you're in the workforce, Start salary sacrifice.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Now, salary sacrifice is when you contribute part of your pre-tax pay
Yes.
into your super.
Yep.
So all you have to do is write a 5-minute email.
Yeah.
To
I think there's
HR.
even a template.
There's a template in my book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen a template.
Yes. And the reason you would want to do that is because not only is your employer then, sweeping your additional monies. Note, this is in addition to SG.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, this does not replace SG. That's the mandatory employer paid component.
Yes.
This is you as an employee. This is you saying, I will sacrifice $200 a month, whatever, of my pre-tax pay, and the employer makes that happen.
Yes. And it's limited to $30,000 a year.
It's $30,000 a year.
Yes.
But what you're doing is not only are you boosting your super, and you're getting out of your own way in doing so, very important, but you're also reducing your income tax payable now.
Yes.
Which, happy days.
Yeah.
So, so that's the second thing.
Yes.
I would do. Now, for those who are not in the workforce, I would encourage them heavily to look at the government co-contribution.
Okay.
This is a little known free money hack.
And is that means tested?
Yes. So the limits have just changed. I'm going to go with it somewhere around the $45,000 mark.
Yeah.
So if you earn less than $45,000 a year,
yes,
which if you're a stay-at-home mom, that's you. Then if you contribute $1,000 of your own money, post-tax money.
Yeah.
So maybe it's come from your savings, or maybe there's been some bonus or windfall, or you've sold a couple of handbags on eBay, whatever.
Yeah.
If you contribute $1,000 of your own money into your superannuation in any single tax year, the government will contribute up to a further $500.
Oh, wow.
Free money, peeps.
Wow.
Free money. And I actually did the maths on that. If we think about a woman age 36, stay-at-home mum, and she does that for the next 30 years, she's going to end up with an extra, it was in the region of $70,000.
Wow.
By the time she retires.
And that's not even her money, like it's just a gift.
It's just a gift.
Okay.
So that's tip number 2 for the working and the non-working. The third thing I would advocate for women to do is to set up a direct debit and just start an ETF, an investment ETF.
Yeah.
Just in their own name.
Mm-hmm.
Just their name. Not shared.
Yeah.
Just their name. And set up a direct debit into it. So $50 a week or $50, whatever you can afford.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I would encourage that is because then that becomes, over time, that becomes your emergency fund.
Yeah. Yep. I do that for my kids, but not myself, but for my kids, because it's like you don't miss it. And
That's
it's
right.
just there, and they've got like a nice nest egg now, and let's hope that they can take advantage of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I love those tips, and I do love the checking the super balance. Like, it's something that's really easy to do, but not many people do it.
No.
Let's do a super myth-busting moment.
Oh, let's do it.
What are 3 things women believe about super that simply aren't true?
They believe that it's not their money.
Yes.
When it is.
Yeah.
They believe, and this is a really important one, ladies, so put your listening ears back on if they've fallen off. In the event of divorce, do not go with that old adage of she gets the house and he gets the super.
Okay.
This is incredibly important. Now, we know 1 in 2 marriages ends in divorce.
Yeah.
So that's, we've got to hope for the best, but plan for the worst.
Yeah.
So that has been that mentality of, oh, I'll keep the house and he can have the super, is so damaging for a woman's finances for so many reasons, and I'll explain them. So the gender super gap,
Yes.
25%. In a scenario of post-separation, that gender super gap blows out to 113% because he's got the super, she's got the house.
Right.
Yes. And the key mistake that so many women have made and perhaps continue to make in a separation and divorce is that they only look at the value of his super currently.
Yeah.
But what they also need to be factoring in is how much super he would have earned had they stayed together.
Yeah.
So future earnings.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is that if she keeps the house, but she doesn't have any other income, how do you manage in life?
Yeah.
You know? So the smarter play is actually to liquidate the house.
Yeah.
And insist on getting half of the super.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes. Yes. So
Even if it is going to be unsettling.
But ladies, you can't eat the bricks that surround you.
Yeah,
You know,
true.
you can't live off that.
No.
So that is also one of the biggest myths around super for women. And related to that, I think a really big third myth is that so in that particular scenario, women don't believe that they are entitled to half.
Yeah. It's
And
interesting.
there's, he's offering, I'll give you 25%.
Yeah.
No. You are, under family law, you are entitled to half.
It's interesting then when the husband then comes back and goes, you're not entitled to half. I paid for that. I worked for that. It's like.
Yes, that's right. It's a complete minefield. But thankfully, family law now has improved a lot to recognise women's, status. Where the crunch comes, however, is for a lot of women who find themselves in that situation, is that they don't have the money to engage a lawyer, right? And so he's lawyered up, she's not. His lawyer is sending through these requests of, oh, well, he'll offer you 25%, whatever. She doesn't have the legal resources to say, well, yes, that's right, or no, it's not, or combat it, or whatever it might be. Which is why, refer to my earlier point about the emergency fund.
Yeah. At least if you
at least then you've got something there. There is also a great tip, a great company called Just Fund.
I was just about to say that. Yes.
Do you want to explain what Just Fund is to our listeners?
Just Fund, it is a facility or a service that actually will allow you to borrow the cost for funding a lawyer.
Yes.
Whether that is in estate planning or in going through a separation.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And they take the fees after
Correct.
the settlement has actually happened.
Correct.
Rather than expecting anything up front.
Correct. So that means that
Is that right?
Yes, that's right. So that means that the woman who has been the stay-at-home mum for 10 years or whatever and doesn't have, funds of her own, she's effectively borrowing against her future settlement so that she can fund proper legal fees. Yeah.
Which I think it's a great idea in making sure that at least you do have that fair representation as well.
Yes.
Although you can also now use AI to take the lawyer's letters initially, base it against family laws in Australia and see what you are actually entitled to.
Yes.
Before even going and lawyering up.
Absolutely. And I would always recommend doing, because that's effectively you doing your own research.
Absolutely.
And if you can go into your legal meetings, having done your research, having prepped and knowing to ask about A, B, and C, you're going to get so much more out of your lawyer as a result.
And you're not going to be deer in the headlights. You're actually going to be informed.
And
knowledge knowledge is power.
Exactly.
Everything comes back to that. If a woman is 48, has kids, a mortgage, maybe has worked part-time, what does being on track actually look like for them financially?
With her super?
Yeah, with her super, with her finances, Like, what should she be thinking about? There's less than 20 years until she can tap into that super. What are some of the things that she should be doing?
I will always say salary sacrifice.
Yeah, okay. That's
I
your
will
big thing.
always say
Yeah.
salary sacrifice. She should have an emergency fund
Yes.
of her own,
Yeah.
even if just $50 a week,
Yeah.
because you never know what life is going to throw at you.
Mm.
And she has a mortgage, you said?
Yes.
One of the most often asked questions I receive is, do I pay my mortgage or do I build up my super?
Oh.
And I always say both. And that's not
Right.
because I'm sitting on the
Yeah.
fence. But it's for very good reason, which is that historically we've always had this this idea that by the time we reach retirement, we will have had our mortgage paid off.
Yes.
And that used to be true
Yeah.
when people bought their first property at 27. But now the first age at which someone purchases a property in Australia is 37.
Yeah, right.
37 with a 30-year mortgage, that's 67.
Yeah, yeah.
We are seeing more and more stats about how retirees are dipping into their superannuation to pay off their mortgage.
Mm.
So I think we just need to accept
Yep.
that we will have a mortgage
Yep.
in some way, shape or form as we enter retirement.
Yeah.
Which then makes building up your superannuation
Yeah, really important.
even more important.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If you don't start adding as much as you can to your super aged 48 or 52, 50, whatever, you're missing it. And if you can concentrate all your monies into repaying your mortgage, you're going to miss out on
All the
20 years of
Yeah.
compound interest.
Yeah.
And once you reach 68, you can't reclaim those 20
No.
years of compound interest, which is why I say both.
Yeah, okay. Okay, good. Women live longer than men.
Yes.
How should that change how we think about money? Should we be thinking and making sure that we are protected for the extra years at the end?
Absolutely. So for our listeners who aren't aware, the average age of a woman's life expectancy in Australia is 88.
Yes.
The average man is 84. So we're living that bit longer.
Yeah.
But we're also underfunded, aren't we?
Yeah.
So it's a double whammy.
Okay.
25%
Mm.
less super than men. So this is another very actual practical reason why I say women, just add as much as your super to your super as you can from as early as you can, because you're going to be living longer.
Yeah.
And the other thing I have to say is that what's the downside
Yeah.
in having a big super balance?
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
I have too much super,
Yeah.
said no one ever.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no one has. No one ever has said that
No.
unless you get to the $6 million threshold.
Right.
Like,
So, and that applies to a very, very small subset of the population. So if you have more super in your retirement, so what?
Yeah, that's a good thing, isn't it?
It's a great thing.
And if you die, you can hand it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hand it on to whoever.
Exactly.
Or
So
donate it.
this is why I've never understood the reluctance on this front around super. But I mean, I personally, and coming back to something I think we were talking about a little bit before we started, it comes back to, having enough super and being able to live your third chapter of your life on your terms comes back, in my case anyway, to one of my core values, which is choice.
Yeah. Right.
And I want to have choice in my retirement. I do not want to be dictated to in how I live and, whether or not I take that holiday or, do I have to eat baked beans every day? I don't want to be dictated to by my financial circumstances.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then that is in direct contradiction of my values of choice.
I agree. I agree with that 100%. But choice isn't one of my values, though. Permission is.
Yes.
Okay, so rapid fire round. One financial myth women should stop believing.
That they can't manage money.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. And to start, just to
Or,
start.
or that he can manage my money.
Yeah.
No. And Tracy would have said something similar.
Yeah.
Women have to take or maintain financial agency.
Yes. Yep. Okay, good. One thing every woman should understand about super.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It's going to be the biggest asset outside of your house.
Asset outside of property.
Yeah.
It is your biggest asset. So treat it like, help it grow, nourish it, love to learn it.
Yeah.
It's not this big hairy monster waiting to jump out at you from the shadows. You need to wrap your arms around it and make it your best friend.
Yeah.
If you look after it, it's going to look after you.
Yeah, well, that's a great way of thinking about it. One thing women should check in their super today. I know that. The balance. Yeah.
The balance, but check that. Go back, look at your pay slips and check that if you've had, I don't know, 50 pay slips, that there are 50 correlating entries in your superannuation account.
Yeah.
If you're missing,
although some of them can be prior to payday super, it could be paid quarterly.
Yes, but that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
If it's because that was actually they were the best conditions for malfeasance by employers.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
because people were not paying attention. But if you can find your pay slips, and if there are 50 pay slips saying that you were paid apparently $1,000 into superannuation.
Yeah.
Go to your super account and check that there are 50 contributions.
Yes.
Matching the same amount.
Okay, good. One money habit that changes everything.
Prioritizing your finances. So particularly as women,
yeah,
I think we were taught, or maybe we learned, that you pay the bills and then the groceries and then savings are last.
Yes.
We need to flip that script.
Yeah, okay.
Because when you prioritize paying yourself first, investing in you first, then you just make everything else work.
Yeah. I think that's a great way of thinking about it. One thing women underestimate about their financial power.
We are 51% of the population. The intergenerational wealth transfer is happening right now.
Yeah.
Women are set to inherit $3.4 trillion.
Massive.
Trillion. So not only do I tell women that they can do it, but they're going to have to do it.
Yeah.
Because they're about to inherit, or they're already in the process of inheriting $3.4 trillion. And I know that can sound terrifying, but there is no reason that women can't do it.
Yep.
Women actually make better investors than men.
Mm.
Because of their attitudes to risk and so on. It's just a question of just starting.
Yeah.
Just learning. You will make mistakes. It won't be perfect. But in the learning and the doing, you will improve.
Yeah.
Start small. Start small and learn and figure it out. And that's how you will become your best financial advocate.
Yeah. Okay, good. One sentence every woman should say to herself about money.
Money is not the destination. Money is the journey.
Okay. So love the journey.
Love the journey. Yeah.
Your mood in one word right now.
Upbeat.
Yeah. And if you were going to get a tattoo, what tattoo would you get?
Or if I were to get nail art.
Exactly. What would you do?
It would say, does it serve me?
Oh, and why would it say, does it serve you?
I learnt those 4 words quite late in life.
Yeah.
Only a few years ago. I really, really wish I had learned them sooner.
Yeah.
I think I would have, particularly in personal relationships, I would have stopped tolerating bullshit
Yes.
a long time ago. But, it's not just about personal relationships. It's
No.
like those 4 words are the litmus for everything.
Yeah.
Do I want a hamburger for lunch?
Yeah.
Does it serve me? No, I won't. Do I want to go out with that person who's been harassing me, to catch up for drinks for a while? Does it serve me? No.
Yeah.
It actually becomes an incredible way to simplify life.
I agree. That I think that having some sort of mantra, mine is permission to pause, with your values underpinning it, it does help you make better decisions.
Absolutely. Just wish I'd known earlier.
Yeah.
But now I share it with you all.
What's the one truth about women and money that the finance industry still hasn't fully caught up with?
I think the finance industry, and by that I mean financial advisors, wealth managers, superannuation funds, etc. I think it treats women as second-class citizens, and I think women unwittingly play to that persona.
Yeah.
Because of the 42 reasons
Yeah.
around why
Yes.
women don't feel they can handle money. So I think it's actually, unfortunately, a perfect storm where the financial industry, talks to the man but not the woman.
Yeah.
Right. Or, maybe the couple goes together to the wealth manager and it's the guy doing all the talking and she doesn't speak up because she doesn't feel confident or what have you.
Yeah.
So I think it's a perfect storm of the industry considers women to be second-class citizens, and then women inadvertently reinforce that concept.
Yeah. Okay. So knowledge
and doing.
Get knowledge and doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. Last question. I'm nearly turning 50 in just under 2 years. Yeah. What's one thing that you would recommend that I do that pushes me, challenges me, that's within your circle of knowledge and education that you think I should be doing before I turn 50? And don't ask. I know what my super balance is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to assume also the other things, right?
Yes.
That you have an emergency fund.
I do.
Yes. And that you are doing salary sacrifice. Yes. Or a version of.
Yeah. Yes.
But if you want an extra challenge,
Yes.
I would say start investing.
Okay.
So even though I have worked in asset management
Yes.
for so much of my life, the fund managers, they were always like the godlike beings, right? That used to walk the halls. And I never had the confidence. I didn't understand. I understood markets. I understood why they went up and down, sideways and whatnot. But it wasn't until I started my own investment account with my $50 or whatever.
Yep.
And I started. Yes, I could select their portfolios, but I thought I actually want to challenge myself. I want to see if I can do this.
Yeah, right.
And so I have been learning.
Yes.
By doing.
Yeah.
And a couple of months ago, I invested in gold.
Yeah.
And fuel and food.
Great.
Because I thought, I think I can see how I can see the way this is going to pan out. And so at a time when like the ASX 200 is, going down, my portfolio performance is actually up.
Yeah, great.
And I am so proud
Yeah.
to be able to say that.
Yeah.
And hey, I didn't get here overnight. Like it's taken me a couple of years to figure out all this sort of stuff because I'm, changing the allocation of my portfolio and, I'm thinking, okay, well, obviously there's this massive fuel shortage now, but that is actually going to accelerate renewables in the long term because we've all gone, holy heck.
Yeah, we need to do something
So
about it.
I'm going to carve out a little sub-portfolio for renewables.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking strategically and globally now in a way I didn't know that I could.
Yeah.
Because I set myself that challenge.
And
so
it's your money.
Yeah.
And that's funny because, I mean, I do have, yes, and I don't do it. I get someone else to do it where I should actually be doing it because it does give myself an interest in what is actually going on.
Yes.
And it does challenge you to think about, okay, well, fuel prices are up, renewables are going to it gives you something else to be thinking about.
That is my challenge to you.
Okay, great. I'll go carve some out and do it.
But it's so easy now. That's
I know. I'm just so I'm so risk pro. I just go all in on black.
Start small. Honestly, that's what I did. I started small, and I learnt and I'd look at not daily, but I'd look at my portfolio once a week and go, okay, well, why? I don't understand why is that stock down?
Yeah.
And then I might ask ChatGPT, why? And I go, okay, and I understand that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been through doing.
Yes.
And understanding, I'm overweight uranium, whatever. And okay, I need to trim that back.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not dragging my portfolio down. Yeah. And so I looked at my results, over the last week and went,
oh, go you.
ASX down, Pascale up. Yay.
Amazing. Okay. All right, Pascale, thank you so much for this conversation. I know super can be dry, but I think repositioning it so that you are actually thinking about it as your biggest asset outside property.
Yes.
It does make you want to know more. Well, it makes me want to know more, definitely. Yes. And money is not just numbers.
No.
It is about freedom. And your freedom to choose and to make choices now, but also later in life. Freedom to leave situations that you don't want to be in.
Absolutely.
Freedom to design the next chapter. Yes. And make it all on your terms.
Exactly.
Which it's a tool to make sure that you are actually living a great full life. And the truth is, no one apart from you is coming to sort it out.
Absolutely. There is no knight in shining armor.
There's no knight in shining armor. You have to do it.
You are your knight.
Yes. And you've just got to do and learn.
Big girl pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the moment that we understand it, we can actually take the power back.
Yes.
And financial independence doesn't happen by accident.
No.
It happens when we start to actually plan for it. So if you're listening right now and maybe today will be the day that you actually do start being a little bit inquisitive or open up your super account and see how much your balance is or where your funds are actually being diverted in what fund. And it's to do it today, not next week, not next year, now, because now we've actually got time on our side.
Yes.
And the more that women understand about money, the more everything changes.
Absolutely.
Pascale, thank you very much for your time. I will put all of your books, your wisdom, your links to everything in the show notes. And if this episode has resonated with you or someone that you know, please make sure you share it because I'm nearly 50 and isn't it amazing?